What is up, YouTube? Ryan down here, back here again, talking about some more real estate stuff. Today we're going to be doing wholesaling, intro to wholesaling. Anybody who's interested in it, I'll kind of touch base with almost all the different aspects to it, and then based on your guys' feedback, whatever you're thinking, I can go more in depth into whatever topic you want, because I'm not an expert, but I've done it. So I have some more experience than anybody who's not done anything at all, or maybe you're looking out to scale up and try some different techniques. So anyway, let's jump right into it. Some of the steps I outlined here, there's maybe a few in between these steps, but it's a good starting point. So anyway, I think one of the biggest tips I can give you is to really know your market. So that's why I put number one, find one or two towns, not a whole county. You don't really need to know a whole county, because from one town to the next it could change dramatically, house values, the demographics, etc. So pick one or two towns, hopefully maybe the one that you're living in now and maybe a neighboring town, or a town that you have a lot of other family that might live nearby, so somewhere that you could go inside and kind of get a good idea pretty quickly as to what kind of cabinets, what kind of flooring they have, just standard stuff, standard practice for that town. So you want to know average sale price, based on bed and bath. So 3-bed, 2-bath, it's selling for $300,000, and that's just pretty standard. It's been like that the past 9 months or so. Usually 9 months is about the cutoff. Anything over that is a little bit shaky. You don't want to use anything anything more than that when you're doing your ARV, after repair value, what the end buyer is actually going to buy it for. So average price, you want to know average days on market, how long a standard house is for sale on, say, the MLS, or for sale by owner. How long have they had the house listed? Because that's key. If average days on market is 20 days and you find a house that's been on there for 100 days, you know that there's something going on, that they're having trouble, selling. Maybe they have a lot of other liens, maybe it's foreclosure, and they have to pay a lot of back taxes, where you could jump in there and help out and meet up with an expert who's able to resolve all that for you. So that's another key metric you want to check out. Something else, square footage of the property, and the lot size, and the actual building. So you can find all that info on the tax assessors generally, and that's pretty accurate. If they do additions here and there, it's not perfect, but it's pretty darn close. So lot size, that should be 100% accurate, because generally lot sizes don't increase or decrease, but square footage changes a little bit. So know those for the average house. You want to look at averages, but you really, just like any business, when you're taking some of this serious money, these are houses. Sometimes it's like the biggest purchase a person's making. So you really want to know your stuff, and it's really not that hard. You just got to take the time and do the research. And there's a lot of people out there who are trying to do this, or saying they're doing it, but they don't know what they're talking about. So you really just spend a week, spend a month, whatever it takes, and check it out. And then like I was saying before, normal interior condition of the property. What's the standard kitchen look like? What kind of flooring does everybody have? Just key features like that. The exterior, what kind of roof, what kind of siding, the bigger stuff. So when you see something that's pretty standard, but it's out of maybe 20, 50 years old, that'll really help you out. So go along with that. Number two, you want to check out the average construction cost, what it takes to, recarpet a whole house, or new cabinets in a kitchen, or new countertops, new flooring, some of the bigger stuff, right? Painting, yeah, it's pretty easy. You just take the square footage and then multiply it by a certain number, a certain percentage, and get the average price. And sometimes you could call up a contractor and they'll be able to give you a pretty good metric where you can estimate these yourself. So number three kind of goes along with that. When you go to networking events, meeting with other investors, meeting with other wholesalers, you'll be able to kind of get some of these estimated construction costs and have like a little list going, so that when you go to these people's houses, generally you're looking for something that needs some work on it. You're able to give some pretty accurate costs. And I do have some spreadsheets and stuff like that. If you guys are interested, I can start providing those and some of the other Excel sheets and stuff to help you guys out. But let me know. So number three, networking. Networking is really key in real estate. You really have to know who's out there and who's actually doing it, who are the real investors. Just like any industry, there are people who are a little scummy and want to take advantage of you, and that's why you have attorneys when you have people that help you out, represent you. But you really want to know your market. So if you're calling up this one guy and you need to assign his property, he's legit and he's really going to show up. So get out there, meetup.com, BIGGERPOCKETS.com, both free. Meetup groups, maybe it's $10 a month to go, maybe it's $20, but that's nothing comparison into what kind of value you get from meeting these people. Maybe you pay $10 1 month, and a few days later a property comes up, and then 2 weeks later you're able to assign it to him. You make $5, $10, $20,000. What's the ROI on $10? Like, come on, So meetup groups are really, really good. There's a lot of other ones out there, but I like meetup.com. BIGGERPOCKETS, that's just like an online meetup group. And yeah, just search online, There's plenty of resources for real estate investing. So just start digging out there if you're interested in doing it. So then number four, kind of going along with number one, but number four is kind of knowing your target audience, kind of your owner. Whether you're looking for somebody who owns a property and rents it out, maybe they live in Texas, but they own a house in Maine, right? So you want to see, you can do this for free, or you can pay for a list. You could go on the tax assessors. You can look at a person's street address and their mailing address. If both those are the same, that means it's owner occupied. If they're different, then that means they're probably renting it out, most likely. So you can send them maybe a letter or a postcard to their mailing address. Say, hey, I saw your house down the street. It looks like it's been boarded up for the past year or two. I'm interested in checking it out. I'm interested in purchasing it. If you are interested in selling, feel free to give me a call at this Google Voice number that you create. And it's really easy. Just you gotta branch out and see what's out there. So absentee, owner occupied. Maybe you want to go for people who are actually owning the house. Maybe they are behind on their taxes, and you want to jump in there and you say, hey, I can help you out. We can buy the house for this amount. And a lot of times people are grateful, are looking for assistance, and sometimes they don't know where to go. Sometimes it's just the beginning and they get a little pissed off and they are still in denial. so you're going to have to face a lot of that. But a lot of times, people are really looking for help, and if you're able to come to them and tell them that, then it'll be a good day at the end of the whole process. So Craigslist, Redfin, redfin.com. It's kind of like Zillow, for sale by owner, or just networking with local real estate offices. Sometimes people, an agent comes up with a property which they're not going to be able to sell because it's in such a bad condition. They're not going to have any clients that they're going to be able to show. Maybe they don't have investors in their pocket. They don't work with investors. Meanwhile, you work strictly with investors, right? That's only who you're going to work with. So networking with real estate agents in offices is a really good place to go. Number 5, so this is where you got to really start taking action. You got to go on Craigslist, go on Zillow, talk to those real estate agents, and just call and call and call. It doesn't really cost anything. You get like almost all cell phone plans now are unlimited calling. So just look up people's numbers and see what their situation is. Maybe they have to move across to California and they live in Maine. They have to move next week and they have to sell their house, and they're willing to take a little bit of a hit just to get it done with, and not have to wait for somebody to get a mortgage and have that whole headache. And maybe somebody's at the end of the lease and they have to wait like another 2 months or something, and they're the only person that's able to do it. They've been marketing their house for a long time. So just get out there, find their situation, see how much people are willing to sell their house for, and see if you can go in there and check out some properties. So you're really not going to know a good selling price until you really get out there. So number 6, get a standard real estate assignment contract. So there's a lot of sites out there. You can go to like Staples, Office Depot, and get like a standard real estate contract, but you might have to modify it a little bit. This, I advise you guys, you gotta work with an attorney, or get one from somebody who's worked with an attorney, because you're dealing with houses, right? You're dealing with purchasing a house. It's a big ticket item, and you want to make sure this contract is rock solid. It's ironclad, and everybody's protected. That's really what it is at the end of the day. You want to protect yourself, but you also want to protect the other person too. And saying, I will close in 30 days, it's going to protect them, and it's going to protect you, that this deal is really going to happen. Same thing with the investor that you're working with as well. So, you got to read it, you got to understand it, you got to memorize it. So if somebody has a question, you have to be able to give them an answer because you are the professional, you're the expert. I know it sounds like a lot, it sounds a little scary, but it is so worth it at the end of the day. I can say that because I've done it, and it took a lot, but it's worth it, and it's fun. It's a lot of fun to go out there and meet new people. I love going to networking events and talking with people and deals that they're doing and areas that they work in. It's just totally different from what I do during the day. So if you guys are really into that, this is going to be something that I think you'll find some really cool, really good passion about. So anyway, we can do another video about that. And then, going along with, I know I kind of mix stuff around a little bit, but number 7, you really want to have an email list. So once you get these properties, you could blast it out to all of your investors, but you want to have really legit investors, people have the money, who are doing the flips, who are in that area, that once they see that price, once they it's a deal, then they'll be able to act and act pretty quick too. So you want to have a list of all your active investors and write down what kind of properties they look for. Single family, multifamily, how many beds, how many baths, what kind of condition. Some people only like to, paint the house and put new siding on it. Put like, $20,000, $30,000 into it. Meanwhile, other investors, they want to have entire gut jobs. They want to pay, only $50,000 for the house, but put $200,000 into it. And that's, what they like to do, what they enjoy doing, and they're able to see more profits that way. So, you gotta know your investors, know your area. And coming on to number 8, you want to get into as many houses as you can, as quickly as you can. You want to get out there and you ask the owner first, or the person who's renting it. A lot of times you'll find it's absentee owners, so it'll be the person who's renting it. Ask if you take a video while you're walking through the house, take some pictures, so that when an investor is interested, say, hey, I got this walkthrough video. They'll usually be more than pleased to see that before they have to go out or send one of their contractors out to the house to see how much it's really going to cost to fix it up. So having the condition of the house in digital form is really handy these days. So get out there, at least 5 houses a weekend. I know it's a lot, but once you see 30, 40, 50 houses, stuff is, you won't even have to write anything down. You just calculate stuff in your head as you're walking around. So it's that's really key as well. So it'll help you know when a deal's a deal, know the price before you go. So the ARV, what that standard house, that bed and bath is going to sell for once it's fixed up. So you could essentially have your contract filled out ahead of time, right? Point B, have your contract filled out ahead of time with the sale price, because you can't go above that number, no matter what the condition is. Or if you want to leave it blank, whatever. But know that ARV before you go to the house and bring that contract with you. And coming on to the last one, it's okay to pass off a house if it doesn't look like it's really gonna be a deal. A lot of people want retail price for the house that's missing siding on one part of it, and they have no clue that they're not even going to get close to that when they're actually selling it. So they expect you to come in there, or maybe they call you and they say, oh, give me an estimate, give me how much you're going to pay for it. Meanwhile, you haven't even seen the property, you haven't even gone inside, and there's no way you'd be able to give them the price over the phone for a house. Like, some people are just so delirious, they have no idea what they're talking about. But it's okay to pass off a house. Don't feel bad, don't force a deal, because you could lose a lot of money. This is some big time stuff. So it's alright. It's happened so many times to me where I thought a deal was going to go through, but it's kind of just the nature of real estate, and you just have to get accustomed to that. It's a really crazy roller coaster of, you're so going for it, this deal is going to close, and then something comes up out of the blue you have no control over, you had no idea that was even possible, and it's done. The game over, you just have to move on. And that's what happened. It's happened to me, and it's happened to a bunch of other investors that I know. So you just gotta know that could happen. Alright, so I know I didn't want to go too crazy in depth. Hopefully this wasn't a really long video, but we'll get more in depth into some other topics here about specific marketing. Maybe I'll do some live calls. I've been getting a bunch of calls lately from one of our marketing campaigns, so maybe I'll do a live call with you guys, talking with a homeowner. Some of the questions I ask, if you guys are interested in that, that would be really cool. So we'll dig down and do do some more of these topics. So I just want to end here with some of the things that you don't need. Some people just have this mindset, oh, I'm never going to be able to get into real estate if I don't have, $1 million to buy a bunch of houses, apartment complexes. So some things you don't need, things you do need. So some things you don't need. Everybody was like, oh, you gotta meet up with a mentor, you gotta find this person who is, going to show you the ropes, who's going to hold your hand through all the process. You really don't need that. You don't need fancy $5,000, $10,000 courses. I did all this with no courses. I didn't spend any money on a course. The only thing that I remotely spent money was a weekend, like little mastermind. It was like $100 for a Saturday and a Sunday and a Friday night, and it was the deal of a lifetime. Like, I met probably 60 different guys who were legit, who were really doing it, and I got so many notes in one of my notebooks, and took down pictures of all the PowerPoint presentation. It was just like, anyway, stuff does not need to cost $1,000 for getting this info, even when you do scale up, But sometimes people really do have other knowledge about things that might be, a little different, but it's really not that hard. So you don't need fancy courses. You don't need tons of money. You could do all this just with a phone call, and finding contracts online. Maybe finding an attorney who can review it really quick, knowing that when you do have a deal, you'll work with him to close the property, and he'll get his money that way. You just gotta be a little flexible, get out there. You don't even need a car. You can use a bike if it's in the same town. Bike around, park around the corner. Don't let anybody know that you don't have a car, but yeah, you don't need any fancy magic marketing skills. All you need is really a phone, email, make a Gmail investor account or something like that. Use like Google Drive, use all that free software online. You don't need a lot of money. But what you really do to make up for that is a lot of hustle, grind, and balls. You need balls, because some people are going to be so pissed off with you for, I don't know why, that you're calling them and saying, I'm interested in purchasing your house. I don't know, some people find that really offending. But, hey, it happens. Some people are in really grumpy moods. Some people live their whole lives and they're just totally miserable. So you just gotta be open to that. Say, hey, that person's an idiot, and just move on. But you gotta make those 20, 30 calls a day. You gotta get out there and see all those properties. But it is so worth it at the end. As you'll see when I'm getting close to this deal. So anyway, that's it for this video, guys. Please, if you're not subscribed at this point, subscribe, get notifications, and please leave a comment. Give me a question, some other stuff you want to go over, and we'll get some more knowledge out there. And if you want some of those Excel sheets, if you want to see examples of some properties, maybe I can drive out and we could go over some construction costs, probably just from the exterior of like abandoned houses and stuff. But yeah. So also, lastly, so when I'm doing this deal, I'm going to be shadowing with the investor. So that's going to be another thing. We'll be able to check out the property as he's doing work on it, seeing from the demo phase all the way to the finished product. It's going to be really sick because his house is so crappy and he does some really cool work. So anyway, please subscribe, come back, leave comments. I really want to help you guys, genuinely. Like, I want to know that I'm helping somebody flip a house, make $10,000, and totally ramp up and scale their whole real estate adventures. So let me know. All right, guys, I'll see you next time.